Hello, 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 hello. How are you? Welcome to Radio Free Wall Street. And a very important show. And the reason why is we're within 180 days of the biggest stock market meltdown ever. And I want to be on record telling you that. And I want you to know that little Facebook wipeout you saw today is just a little stutter of what's happening. Now, a couple things you'd be aware of, okay? You might be wondering why we're not jumping on, adding more trades, doing more enhancing stuff, adding to our FANG and all that. And that's a good question. Very, very justified. And the answer is, as you know, I told you Facebook was a piece of shit. I told you that these are among the FANG stocks in wipeout. I've been telling you over and over again that Facebook's model is very flawed. And the Facebook phenomenon is over with. He's had his turn on a switch. And that's the same thing with Twitter. Tweet. I mean, how far do you go with this thing? I mean, more and more competition's coming in. The kids are moving to other platforms. Netflix is a streaming TV company. Give me a break. The technology is available around the world. Competition's coming up the ass, and overspending. Amazon, another member of the FANGs, and Amazon's problem is really very simple. They are an online company selling you shit. And many other companies coming and doing it. They're breaking off the field, the food divisions. Walmart's getting in on the game. But their biggest problem is, and what you need to be aware of, is the fact that they don't make any money on it. Amazon, when their postage and handling costs, is basically a loser on it. And now they have to start collecting sales tax. It's going to hurt their business because the competitive advantage they had, especially in high sales tax states, will be gone. So how does he make his money? Well, Amazon makes his money not with rocket ships blasting off to Mars. That's Elon Musk's fantasy. He's parking his car up there. It is in providing cloud services, mostly to government. Cloud storage, okay? NVIDIA Corporation makes a fantastic product. Their video cards are amazing processors. In fact, in all the terminals we ship, we put the NVIDIA state-of-the-art card in there, but it's a video card. And the technology is being duplicated, being ripped off, I might add. And they got some problems. Tesla. He can't produce the car. They wouldn't let people take a shit in the factory. Okay, he's going a little wacky. It's a car company. It's a lousy business. Electric cars, everybody and their mother's making it. Alphabet, well, let's face it, Google's got a real problem with disclosure, what they're doing with the data, and that's going to be a big stink and cost them a lot of money in fines. Apple, it's a smartphone. And if you see the models coming out of China, where we're having a trade war, Samsung and those guys, far superior piece of equipment. Facebook, well, you've seen the problems going on with them. The company's getting its ass pounded to the ground, lost 18% of its value today, almost 18.90 to be exact. And that's just the start of their problems. They've got a compliance idiots that are going to drive away business. Baidu, America, well, a lot of competition in there, and especially for a Chinese company owned by the Chinese military in the middle of a coming trade war. And Alibaba, well, like I said, it's just, Chinese shit, plastic, in shipping containers. So these key stocks are really what's driving the rally in the stock market. And this rally is just about over, and they are going to crash and burn at the end of the runway, and it's going to be ugly. So what am I coming to tell you? Well, I'm coming to tell you that the biggest stock market wipeout ever is upon us. What I'm telling you is I want you there for that. I want you making money in that. I want you prospering in that, because this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to never come this way again. I also want you to know that some of the biggest funds in the world are basically based in 5 stocks. And I can tell you that one particular fund manager, who I promised my friend I wouldn't mention, got their ass handed to them today because they were in a stock that fell 19% in one day. It's been falling, and they're getting their ass beat. And I understand that they have not only positions but highly leveraged positions. And I think they ought to put the fund manager on a suicide watch over the weekend. Anyway, a huge, devastating, unparalleled stock market wipeout is upon us. Now, we're going to trade that. We're going to make a lot of money off of that. And as you know, we specialize in stock market wipeouts, and a stock market wipeout, recession, depression, is a terrible thing to waste. And I definitely don't want you to waste it, so what's going to happen is you're going to move down this road of where we are going to absolutely capitalize on this thing like never seen before, okay? I want you to know this. I want you to know that Donald Trump's in trouble, whether it's a deep state conspiracy or FBI lovers that are in a conspiracy to bring him down using their power of the investigation of dun-da-da, dun-da-da-da-da, is all nice, and we always get our man. Reality is he's got problems. Reality is whether he's got problems or not, whether it's a deep state conspiracy or not, these are market significant events that's going to bring us some of the biggest stock market collapse you've ever seen. Okay? You've been warned. Now, I want you to trade it. I want you in it. Now, don't run off half-cocked because the market's still got some more juice, and that's the next thing I want to talk to you about. We are on the verge of another up leg in the stock market. Now, tomorrow, we're going to get a 4 to 5% increase in GDP, gross domestic product. Donald Trump's already making a speech about how great I am at U.S. Steel, talking about how the manufacturing factory workers are going to make America great again, and the trucking companies are going to truck those great products, and the railroads are going to railroad those products, and the ships, and Made in America will be tattooed on every newborn baby's ass if they're blonde-haired and blue-eyed in the Middle West. Okay, fine, you know. He's just hammering and hammering and hammering that, and, you know, the way to wealth is not in manufacturing. The way to wealth is in technology. Do you understand the difference? Technology. I'll give you an example. We just talked about several companies here. Twitter doesn't make anything. Netflix is now trying to produce TV shows and making a mess out of it. Amazon basically is a package delivery service selling you crap and are making their money on the cloud. And the cloud you can't even put your hands on. You can't put it around. There's a bunch of servers with data in it. NVIDIA is making a gaming card. Tesla makes an electric car. And they're doing a terrible job on it. Alphabet doesn't have a factory. Okay? It's basically a data service. Apple is, invented a smartphone. They've never made one yet. Facebook exists with little pictures on the internet and pixels. Baidu, they sell shit, as does Alibaba. So the reality is this, my friends. Manufacturing is not a road to greatness any longer. Here's another thing. Even having a livery stable in New York City will make you great. Having an assembly line putting cars together in Detroit will not make you great. It's a marginal business. So we got a president that's moving us down a road that just is asinine. And I'll tell you the reason why. He's playing to Peoria. He's paying to the factory worker losers who are losing their life and their pay. I again submit to you, show me how the numbers work because I'm really a smart guy. Same machines, same CAD-CAM design, same German welding equipment, same, okay? Producing pretty much the same vehicle, okay? I produce it with a $4 an hour labor rate or a $40 an hour labor rate. How do you compete? You don't. You don't. Okay, so the wake-up call is factories are not going to cut it. Now, you can say, well, we'll automate the factories. Well, okay, they're automating too. They've got no EPA to worry about. They've got no pollution. They got a subsidy from the government, including materials, labor, and equipment. The answer is don't be in the manufacturing business. It's very marginal. Do you realize that China loses money on every ton of steel and aluminum they sell? So we're going to bring up the duties and compete with them? Why would you not let your enemies sell you at a loss? I've made this point many times. Okay, we're not going to beat it up. Reality is that Donald Trump's selling you a bunch of shit that's not going to work. It is going to end up in disaster. And we're going into a recession. We're going into a depression. The whole damn world is. We're going to come out with a technological miracle. Cars will not have drivers. My God, I got that factory worker in that factory, and he's making things great again. And you guys at U.S. Steel here are great. And I got that truck driver delivering all over America in that truck. Mother trucking down the road, okay? And I got the great railroad engineers, and they're going to railroad it down there. And I got the great shipping companies, American shipping companies, there aren't any left, but American shipping companies shipping that all over the world because we're going to make America great with the label says Made in America. You can't even tattoo that on your wife's ass. She wasn't even made in America. What are you talking about? That truck going down the road, it's not going to have a driver. That choo-choo. Casey Jones was an engineer. No more Casey Jones. Casey's gone. Right now in Australia, they're delivering iron ore, Rio Tinto, down a railroad that's autonomous, right to the port. They're loading ships with more and more non-container operators, okay? Cargo ship crews have been reduced to a skeleton crew with a helicopter port where a guy comes on there with a briefcase and an iPad and a wiring harness and taps into the engines and turbines if there's a problem. The world is changing. Duh! Now, you can embrace change or you can have it roll you over. I'll tell you a story. There was a guy, a good friend of mine, okay, owned a very large shipping company, okay, very, very large, okay, and him and his brother, very smart businessman, really astute. He could calculate cubes and tonnages and run numbers unlike few men I know, okay. I used to spend time at his house, and he had macaws, a huge atrium full of macaws, and we always had red snapper that they made in coconut milk, and I was a friend of mine, okay. I really liked him. I enjoyed the time we had together. And he tells a story how, because of his father and his grandfather, that they still ship boatloads of coconuts. Okay, they don't make any money on it, but they've just been doing coconuts for so long they never stopped. And that they had a fight because they had a hand stow boats. That's boats where you have cargo nets and people put the stuff on the boat by hand as versus the containerized business, okay, which was a huge, brilliant move. And I know many stories of businesses that just never could keep up with the time. Now, the secret to the shipping company was they made the father happy, and they shipped a couple boatloads of coconuts to Florida. A lot of competition that since so many people are making stuff with coconut and milk and coconut waters. It's a lousy business, okay? It just doesn't work. The point I'm making to you is manufacturing is done, my friends. When Robbie the Robot comes to town, it's not going to be made in America with American hands. It's going to be made with robots. And robots will have a way of leveling the playing field, but they're going to change the dynamic of the workforce. So here is a news flash. Mr. Factory Worker, you're not going to have a factory job. You are not going to be retrained because the other idea of robots in factories is to throw most of you out on your asses and reduce the head count. Well, yeah, see, we'll retrain them. So you got 1 million factory workers. It's really 10 million. They're going to lose their jobs, and they're going to have robots. So what's going to happen is we're going to retrain those 10 million people that are lost by 10 million robots to have them manage the 10 million robots. Why would you do that? The idea is get rid of 10 million factory workers, hire 1,000 engineers to run 10 million robots, and send the rest of them, on the opioid trip to Fantasy Island and hell. Oh, yeah. By the way, we're going to manage the baby boomers with medical marijuana. Hey, man, wow. I felt really bad, man. And my doctor gave me, wow. I don't know. All through reality didn't ever had to appeal to me, but I've had many friends, and you have too, that it has. Maybe some of you, each his own. If you want to stay stoned all day and all night, God bless you. You should have a right to do it. Me, I want to stay cleary-eyed, bright-eyed, and bushy-tailed. I want to avoid sleeping as much as I can and work, and I want you to trade the greatest depression and stock market wipeout ever. What's it brought to you by? Well, guys, it's two stories here. There's two narratives you need to understand, and this Facebook story today helped me clarify my thoughts for you, okay? Let me explain. God love you. Shit just happens, okay? Progress goes on. It's nothing personal, but it's the march of humanity. And the biggest part of this whole world we're talking about is these incredible technology changes. They're allowing for robots and automation that replace people. Why do I need a girl saying, hi, and how old are you? 27. And have you had any accidents in the last 5 years? Filling out the insurance form? Type the damn thing in or use a artificial intelligence because it's very expensive to have that person. See, that person's got to have an office. And they got to have pay, and they got to have lunch breaks, and if you pinch them on the ass, they're going to sue you, male or female nowadays. I believe in equality. And, by the way, I'm seeing some lawsuits now for males who are being sexual objects of females. How cool is that? I love it. Please, make me a sexual object, honey bunny. Thank you. He's so weird. Anyway, I love this lettuce, bacon, tomato, LGBT stuff. But anyway, the world's changing. And the world's changing in an amazing way. And we're moving into this world that millions of people around the world are going to be displaced. And it's going to be, as all these revolutionary changes, there will be violence, there will be poverty, there will be a shakeout, there'll be winners and losers. You know, there was this third world shithole country that was stealing technology. They didn't honor any patent agreements, and they leveraged themselves in a mighty powerhouse. The name of the country was America, and we were the third world shithole like China, and we were poor, and we were a slave colony, which most people don't know. And the people that had the technology was this amazing manufacturing companies in England. And England had automated sewing and weaving and making fabric, okay? These were trade secrets. And American companies went there and stole the technology, brought it back to America, and were major competitors with the English to the point of winning in weaving and making fabric and all that. Part of the reason was we had the cotton here. And so it was a major crop, and so it goes, okay? So now we have China stealing our technology. Compete with them. Compete with them. Okay, we don't know what great minds are going to develop. We don't know where this world's going. But we are not going into Donald Trump's vision. I watched the U.S. Steel speech, and I'm sure you'll hear about it all weekend long, about America great, manufacturing great. And you know, you kind of breaks the heart. Come up here, Wally Doodoo. Hi there, I'm Wally Doodoo. I'm the third generation working here in this factory, and Donald Trump, I know there'll be a fourth and fifth because he really was that. Why? Why is that a great thing? Why is that a great thing? You know, and it's sad because we're getting these aspirations and hopes up for these people, and it's not going to work. We're not going to be making cars in factories with assembly line workers. Okay, we're not going to be making steel with humans. We are not going to be doing manufacturing with people. We're not going to be making hamburgers with people. We're not going to have waitresses serving food at the table. Okay? We're not going to have a UPS driver. I think they look kind of cool with the little brown shorts on in the summertime. Okay? It's not going to happen. Okay? And it's changing already. The world is a different place. And forget Donald Trump and the deep state and all the other things I immensely dislike about him. Let's just deal with one subject, and that is that he's trying to create a world that won't exist. He's trying to hold out hopes for people who should be planning on a different future. America will not be a made-in-America labeling place again. American factories will not dominate the world's factories. American technology will. American brains will. American know-how will. Oh, yes, hell yes. But this whole idea of this factory empire where America is the great and great and great, no more, guys. And that's one of the great crimes of Donald Trump. And he's doing to get elected. And probably in this case to stay in office and try to stop Democrats from getting elected. We're going to peach his ass. So we're moving into these mindless trade wars. We're moving into a lot of rhetoric. We're moving into some very hateful situations with people. And it's not going well for us. Now, there's another story, and that is that our great innovative companies, as you saw today with the 19% drop in Facebook, that's not settled business either. Social media and advertising campaigns based on incredible amounts of algorithms that have massive data on you is changing. It is in a state of flux. It's the same thing with Netflix. You think Netflix is going to be the only streaming TV company? Well, we have content. Okay, well, a lot of other people have content too. So the reality is that we are going into a world that is unknown, uncharted. And people want certainty. Now, a lot of people got excited about the Facebook drop. We've been telling you for months and months and months this was coming. I keep telling you about the FANGs. But, you know, the reality is the FANG stock, you know, the FANGs didn't the FANGs themselves in the derivative market did not have any big move today. We're still at the bottom end of the range, okay? So you have to understand that we are headed for a stock market wipeout. We're headed for a depression, no matter what happens with Donald Trump. Now, my belief is that his impending revelations of his great crimes and the impending release of the Mueller documents and the attempts to impeach him have a chance of being successful. And I think Donald Trump's days are numbered, but whether they are or not, this stock market is gone. It's tapioca. It's wipeout city. Adios amiga. Crash and burn. And a stock market wipeout is a terrible thing to waste because there's so much freaking money to be made. So forget about Donald Trump. Forget about the deep state conspiracy. Understand that the Wall Street whores, well, they have done some nasty shit. And this nasty shit is going to end up in a stock market wipeout like you've never seen before. And it's going to be ugly. And it's going to get uglier, and we can make a lot of money with that. Okay, is that something I'm getting through to you? So let's keep our eye on the money ball. Let's keep our eye on making lots of money. Let's not get caught up in this stupid shit that's running around because everybody's getting a bad case of the silly ass stupid. This is about a mature economy of a great empire that may not be as great as it once was. I mean, I think we all understand that China, with 3 times the population, might be having a bigger GDP. Hey, green tea time. Remember this myth that central planned economies cannot compete with the capitalist system? China's thrown that on its ass. Now, the idea that we're going to stop their trade, put tariffs on them and get back to a leveling playing field, there's so much poppycock. It's ridiculous. So here's my proposition to you. Donald Trump ain't going to make you money. Donald Trump's going to give you a wipeout. Forget all this stupid-ass Trump shit and make some money. We are 180 days away from the biggest stock market wipeout ever. And it'll just be the start. In other words, that's going to be when the initial crash. Remember the crash? We counted it down last year, and we got in January, February. Remember that 1,000, 2,000 point drops that Wall Street told you was impossible? That ain't shit compared to what's coming. Now, it is time to have finesse. It is time to use highly leveraged instruments. It is time to move into the... How can I put this? It's time to position yourself. I got it. It's time to position yourself for these amazing changes. Now, once you understand that, then that means that we move into a market that is very tradable. We move into a time where the 10 years of this longest running bull market is over with, obviously. Look, if you had 0% interest rates, it's not hard to be a genius in that bull market. Okay? It's also pretty easy to get wiped out when that free money goes bye-bye, and the free money's gone. So what I'm urging you is what you saw today with Facebook. That 20% drop is nothing. Try an 80% drop, okay? Try Facebook shares at $20. That makes more sense. Try Alphabet at $1,285. Try them down at $100. Telsa at 300 shares. Try bankruptcy. Nvidia $20. Amazon $50. Twitter $5. That's the kind of numbers we're talking about. These are bubble stocks. They cannot justify with earnings, future projections, man in Mars, anywhere near these valuations. I'm dedicating this show to you that this is my 2-minute warning. This is, and I've done this before, as you know, very successfully, and hopefully we'll do it again very successfully. This is the verge of a recession, obviously. The punch bowl is gone, and we've never, ever, 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 never, ever, 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 not ever, had the Federal Reserve raise interest rates over a period of time, like a year or two, without throwing the economy into recession. Never, ever, 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 never, ever, ever. Now, do you really believe, and by the way, every time they've raised interest rates, every time I've heard, since I, before I even had hair on my balls, I've heard how, this time it's different. Okay, remember Arthur Brimmer? I go back that far, okay? It's like, I remember that. I remember my grandfather. It was like, that ain't gonna happen, Watch the real estate collapse and get ready to buy it. Watch the stock market plunge, get ready to sell it. Get ready to have your money in U.S. government bonds. They do real well, okay? And, it's a known event. And it's happened many times. Why would you throw away the greatest market-making opportunity ever? Because Donald Trump is going to convince you that he's going to change that cycle? Really? And, it'd be okay, but I heard his president say, we're going to change it. What we're going to do is have a national initiative, and we're going to put every car in America on natural gas as transportation fuel. Okay, we're going to get that means that the cost of running your car will be a fraction of what it is. And as a great initiative, the federal government is going to have a program where we're going to convert the cars. Tell me about some great program that takes advantage of our resources that we're just throwing away. Tell me about a narrative that makes America great as a great energy exporter. Tell me about how we have technology hubs where artificial intelligence and these things we do so well, we capitalize, institutionalize, and export it around the world, okay? You're telling me that, listen, I really, let's talk honest. We have one of the world's largest supplies of natural gas, a perfect non-polluting, renewable resource, okay? And we don't do it. We have the greatest mind trust in the Internet and things of the Internet and smartphones and artificial intelligence and these autonomous vehicles. We really are the masters of that. Okay, really. And I got this asshole jackleg president going to U.S. Steel and telling these poor, lower IQ people, nothing wrong with lower IQ, he's going to make them great again because they're going to have a fourth generation pouring steel. What? What's this shit? I'm going to put an emphasis on coal when half the people in coal mine die from the methane gas, which is natural gas that kills them, that bubbles up anyway. So I've got President Day idiot, and I'm trying to be polite because I have a much lower opinion than just simply an idiot or an imbecile, as Tillerson calls him, who is moving us into steel and aluminum and factory manufacturing jobs. Now, if I could see a national robotic initiative, if I could see an autonomous vehicle initiative, including airplanes, boats, cars, trucks, trains, got my attention. If I could see a national initiative for converting national gas and compressing it and converting on a government subsidy one-time fee on the entire fleet to natural gas that sells for a fraction of gasoline, yeah, it got my attention. Those are making America great. But a steel mill? What in the hell kind of stupid-ass shit is this? Now, where's he going? Well, if you look where Donald Trump's traveling to, it's to the states that are in contention that he needs to win for him and his Republican buddies if they want to keep the House. He's not going to the scientists and engineers in Silicon Valley. He's not going for the mind trust that exists in Massachusetts and some of the scholars that exist there. They're doing artificial intelligence and engineering and breakthroughs, okay? I'm going to Peoria, to a Caterpillar tractor company, because he's going to sandcast an engine? Really? So are you falling for this bullshit? It ain't going to work. America's going to be great again, and long after Donald Trump's gone, and he meets his maker, and he retires, and he's got his Donald Trump, I don't know whether he can do a wax museum with him. He'll do something, theater. Instead of having a presidential library, have a presidential theater. Okay, but, he'll be gone. We're not going to have to put up with it much longer. And we will, kicking and streaming, go into the technology we've developed, into the sciences we understand better than anyone else, and we will make America great again, but it ain't going to be with a label, union made in the USA. Okay, that is over. Okay, we don't want that business anyway. So, prepare yourself to get filthy, stinking rich.
Prepare yourself for the coming recession and Trump depression. Prepare yourself for the biggest stock market crash ever, which will start in 180 days, and it will continue for several years. And you know what? Make yourself great again, because this bullshit about factory workers and steel mills is a load of crap. And I have to tell you, it insults my intelligence, and it should yours too.